They now own the barbecue grill business. Those two companies own the barbecue grill business. If you go to Starbucks, Starbucks first opened, as you all know, with coffee. Next thing you know, they put in a little bit of pastry. You go to a reasonably good-sized Starbucks store today, they've got all sorts of gift-related items in there. All a package because they know the customer may buy that. Those of you in the hospital gift shop business, used to be if you had a hospital gift shop, well, what do you think they sold? Balloons, flowers, and candy. Not anymore. Their top-selling category in hospital gift shops is ladies' accessories and handbags, and a few gifts, but not balloons, not candy. And that's real simply because they decided to find out who their customer was. And if you go to a hospital today, if you're fortunate, you only go for 3 days. And by the time your friends find out about it, you're already home. So nobody's coming to see you. So the shop is empty. Or if you're there for more than 3 days, you're in bad shape, and certainly nobody's going to buy anything there. So they decided, well, we're going to sell our own employees. So 70 to 80% of the hospital sales comes from employees. So they studied and found out, hell, the employees, let them come here and buy their gifts, and let them come here and do these other things. So that's another change in the business. Now, is your store sensitive to this new phenomena? Is your store missing sales by limiting it to core merchandise? Think about it. And I always say the time is now, and we call this cross-selling and cross-merchandising in your stores. Now, what's it all about? It's selling between and among departments to facilitate large transactions and to make it more convenient for the customer. And then it's almost like making a miniature department store for yourself. Today, as I say, retailers are struggling because of competition directly related to overdeveloped retail market. I don't know if you realize it, but we did a survey here in Atlanta last year and found that there's 30 square feet. Now, 30 square feet, you know, is 5 feet by 6 feet. 30 square feet of retailing per capita. Now, there's about 4 million plus people in the metro area. That's 120 million square feet of retail. Yeah, I can't be. Well, let's think a minute. 20 shopping centers, which represent about 30 million square feet. All of the Home Depots, the Walmarts, the Costcos, the Targets, the grocery stores, there it is. All the strip centers. So Atlanta is one of the worst in terms of being over retail. The entire United States is about 18 square feet. And that's because we got a lot of help from Utah and Oregon and Montana and whatever else those states are that nobody lives in. That helps the average. We have someone here from Utah, so I'll try to have a little fun. But that helps the average. So the population is growing slower than the retail. And we got to do something about it. So what we need to do is to say what we can do to get more out of the customer that comes into the store. The successful retailer is responding to the consumer of today and their preference of shopping. And the consumer of today prefers customer service over anything else. That is why, and I don't know if we have any big, I call them big stores, or you might say box stores in here, but that's why the small stores like us are still in business, because the pendulum has switched back where people like to be greeted when they walk in a store. They love to be told who they are, spoken to by name, and they like to be with a little service. And they'll pay a little bit more for that. And in most cases, they don't. We do know that the customer will spend up to 10% more for the same product in exchange for better service. That's why we're all still in business. You go to an Ace Hardware, and you want to buy a little screw for the door, and you try to go to a Home Depot or a Lowe's, and you spend 2 hours trying to find somebody to help you find the thing, and then if you found it, you have to buy 100 of them. You go to an Ace Hardware, the guy greets you, or the lady greets you, takes you to the back, gets the right screw for you. It's worth 20 cents retail. They put it in a bag, probably worth a nickel. And then if you're old like me, you get your discount, the senior citizen discount. and they've lost a little money on the sale, but they do know you're going to come back and buy something else from them later on. That's what service is all about. So, adopting a cross-merchandising program. Certain fundamentals are needed when moving away from the store's core merchandise. You don't want to lose sight of what you're in business for. You know, the old saying, if you're up to your rear end in alligators, that you forgot to drain, the original objective was to drain the swamps. Well, you don't want to lose your original objective of why your store is there. Simple customer surveys are very necessary, allowing the retailer to understand the customer better as well as their needs. You got people in your store, ask them, you know, what would you, Sally, you were here, what else could we buy and sell in this store that would make you come back more often? It doesn't hurt to ask. Know who your competition is. With the addition of a new category, the retailer must be able to display and show the new category that is on a par with a competitor. You certainly don't want to buy a category of merchandise and not be able to show it the way it ought to be shown. It may be necessary, as I said, to shrink core categories to make room for a brand new category. That's been done a lot. And again, I use hospital gift shops as an example where they have shrunk the amount of space they give to certain things like candy or flowers in order to make room for stuff that they know people are buying. And of course, you want to be sure it makes a real statement. In order to grow sales, the customer must be encouraged to spend more. That's how you grow your business. And we do know that chances a shopper will buy more are directly related as to how long they spend in your store. So if you have some additional things, like for example, I don't play golf. I tried it one time. And I said, you know what, I don't understand it. The further you hit the ball, the further you got to walk. And it just didn't appeal to me, so I don't do that. My outdoor activity, other than doing a little bit of traveling, is to go to a Costco about once or twice a month, walk in like I've got a bad leg so I can get the golf cart. And I go up and down. I'll spend 2 hours there. I'll go up and down the aisles looking at what they're doing and what they're selling. And it's amazing to see how they've aligned their store so that the customers will be pulled back. And they do something that I really don't like, but they do it because they got an idea, is they don't have signs upstairs that tell you where it is. So that means you got to go hunting for it. And that, again, is what I'm saying, is chances the shopper will buy more are directly related to how long they spend shopping in your store. And how long they spend shopping is related to directly how far they get pulled back into the store. For example, you go to a grocery store, and where is the meat? Back wall, right? Now, I asked that question. I'm not going to say to what group. And one lady says, it's in the back. I said, why is it in the back? She said, because that's where the electricity is. And that's true. So I said, well, ma'am, you're right. But I said, how can they have ice cream in the middle of the floor if the electricity is in the back? And I was pulling the leg. And I said, no, the reason it's in the back is because we all know that if you go to a grocery store, they sell meat. And you're going to go all the way to the back to buy that meat. And on your way to the back, what are you going to do? You're going to look around. And good thing I went to the store last night because I see all these things. I went there to buy 2 items, a loaf of bread and a head of lettuce. When I left, I had 7 items of $28. It had bananas. I said, oh, my God, they're on sale. Give me some bananas. Then I saw a big can of pineapple juice, and because it was all impulse. And that's how your store should be, is try to pull them to the back, and on the way to the back, they'll see something that they hadn't thought about buying. Now, when visiting AmericasMart, take the time to look at the number of showrooms, this is important, who have adopted this concept. Normally, wholesalers follow retailers. Used to be you walk into this mart, you could always say this, in building 1, everything in here is pure heavy home furnishings. Building 2 is pure gifts. Building 3 is pure apparel. No more. Go to the 18th floor and walk that floor, close your eyes and open it, and you'll think you may be in an apparel building. because they've got one of the largest assortments of children's clothes up there, one of the largest assortments of accessories. Go to the 9th floor. There's a company, I don't mention names because I'll get in trouble. There's a 9th floor right at the escalator. As you come off on the 9th floor in Building 2, you would think you're in a New York 7th Avenue showroom, because their prime focus is handbags and apparel. So what vendors are doing here, they're doing exactly the same thing. In order to gain a larger share of your dollars, they're adding additional categories of product that they think you might buy to put in your store. Many showrooms have now moved into women accessories and handbags. There's a company upstairs that on the 18th floor, I couldn't believe the amount of slippers and shoes that they're selling. And that showroom looks a lot better than some of the ones we have in the apparel building. Many home furnishing showrooms are expanding their core classifications into quality home furnishing products once only carried by gift stores. So look at your store through the eyes of your customer. Begin to understand their desires and how you can keep them in your store longer. Because when the sales start dropping, or when they do drop, as we did early part of last year, and when I had my stores, we always had a way of tracking. And what we did was every afternoon or every evening, we'd say we had so many transactions and we had so many sales. We divide the transactions into the sales and found out maybe that the average ticket in car and gift shops was $8.20. At Christmas, maybe it was $20.30 or whatever. So in order to maintain some kind of sales increase, we would find, well, we're getting less customers now because they're not buying, so we got to figure out a way how we can add more to that transaction. And the only way you can do that is to know what the average transaction was in the first place.